It's deer season already. No, not that deer season. Deer season. You can get $3,000 off at an off-price John Deere deal. Deer season at States Price. That's right. It's deer season now through June 2nd. Saturday night. June 5th. It says now taking on the weekend. No. I encourage you not to go for computer parts Saturday night.
Servers everywhere knew immediately when 8647 meant. Representative Jim Jordan weighs in, and so did President Trump. Will the Supreme Court lift nationwide injunctions against the president's agenda? Shannon Breed reads the tea leaves. Plus, an Israeli American survived nearly 500 days as a Hamas hostage. He joins us live with the plea for those still held by the terrorists. And can AI be a force for good in children's education? The founder of the Khan Academy makes this case. We'll see you at 9. For now, back to Fox with Friends.
Thank you very much, and I can't wait for that show. What about this show? It's not his first rodeo.
Kid Rock, Rocket returns tonight, kicking off the 2025 PBR World Finals.
Oh, good morning, everybody.
8 p.m.
Texas review, and this is joined by Kid Rock and Sub.
I'm right over here. 13 million pounds of dirt here at AT&T Arena. What's going to happen tonight?
Oh, it's gonna be rodeo rematch, teams competition rodeo, which we came up with that myself in the PBR. So I got barrel racers racing head-to-head, cavalry coming out of the chutes head-to-head, of course, saddle riding. This is the entertainment night, the shenanigans in between. Everybody's shenanigans. Of course, big musical number. We kick it off with the musical number. Most rodeos just do music. And at the end of concert, we kick it off with a huge.
Hey, One Vision, good morning.
He's from Texas.
Okay, there is an end of it. 10,000.
American sports. It really just left without the interjection of all wokeness, which I think is pretty much finding its exit from pro sports. Thank God.
Listen, there's so much of it. This is going to be one of the biggest groups I've ever had.
Brenda, good morning, Brenda.
I can see.
I just about had a heart attack this morning. We had a hell of a storm last night, high winds and everything. And I couldn't figure out what was out in the yard out there. There was some kind of a blue thing. And what I found was that it was the lid off a trash barrel. And I looked, and here is, I picked up a whole bunch of parts of trees and put them out by the road. And I got back up here, and the gate, or the fence that swivels, for some reason the wind was so heavy that it opened up that gate. And I let Boone out before I went out to clean up the yard. And I thought, oh my God, is he gone? Is he gone? Is he gone? No, he was still here, because what happened was the whole bunch of yard waste barrels fell over, and it didn't allow him to go out that gate. So the Lord was looking after me this morning. Yep. My bone is still with me.
our president gets something that works his ass off in this country every day. His administration does such great things. Thank God. But do that in Europe, you want to this guy's got what, $500 million, you know, it's out there playing like this for last year. And really, you know, in good standing, Hollywood league, right? And I'm proud to say that I'm Hollywood's kryptonite.
Yeah, that was because if he'd have taken off, he'd have been gone. The yeah, One Vision, it just well, yeah, because the wind had blown open that gate, and the gate has a lock on it. It's the kind where you push down on the inside and it pops up, and then the gate swings open or can swing open. And I think because the barrels that I kept along next to the garage had flopped all over and everything, and one of the lids of the barrels, a big blue lid like that, was out in the yard. I think that all hell broke loose last night. And so anyway, thank God Boone's okay and everybody's fine. How's little Angel doing, Brenda? And I see you said you're expecting a storm this afternoon or this evening. Yeah, it was horrible last night.
Back in New York on the couch. I think that's a question for that. Who's first?
Well, I love you, and I think you're amazing, and I think you don't care if you take a trip down to the Detroit Cowboys. What do you think of this cowboy right here, Mars? Mars is our Dallas Cowboy. We have a Long Island Cowboy too, Kid Rock.
What's up, kids? Hey, you're in Detroit, I can't wait time. You know, you'll love it or not. Don't worry, you celebrate it. That's lovely. Quickly, you famously broke the pace between Bill Maher and the commander J. Trump. The best summer, he spoke harder. He's not but he says he was right. That's fascinating people that he resigns back. Do you think there's hope, peace when it comes to the Democrats now? I think there's hope for reason. I keep stressing reason in people. I think there's a lot of reason people in this country to understand, almost appreciate, agree to disagree. We can have different thoughts and opinions, but they don't have to hate each other all the time. I'm talking smack about each other. That's okay. You know, if people talk smack about me every day, that's fine. I'm from the school of sticks and stones. I know President Trump is just so many other people. So, well, it's just, you know, the bar's a reasonable guy. Yeah. Boss bar, but he's a reasonable person. So get them together and let's, you know,
Yeah, ornery. Well, Brenda, I call it high spirited. Hey, TJ, Giggles.
you couldn't find something positive to say. There's nothing that's man. I mean, that's the Bill Maher thing's a perfect example. To me, that was something very positive. Come out and hear that, you're right or anything. And the mainstream media outside your organization just totally disregard. Not one mention of So I mean, that's a problem in this country. To be in the media is propaganda. What it's
They keep on it. Now, you can tell that Bobby's show is patriotic. He's got a couple of flags right up there ready. We're ready for a big show tonight. It's going to be on Fox Nation at 8 p.m. Tickets still available here in Texas.
And just checking, there's no ships anywhere in my area.
Well, great to see you this morning.
Hey, well, no, thank you, Kid Rock. That's it for us this week. Thanks so much for watching the Bobby Show Man Radio, and I'll see you Sunday at 10.
All right, have a great weekend, y'all. Bye.
Hey, there he is.
What's up, Paul?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. What's up, everybody in the chat? There we go. What's up, TJ, Dustin, Brenda? Keep wanting to call Dustin Dusty because Dustin ain't been around a long time. All of a sudden, he's been showing up again.
On Instagram, cool shell formation on my beach walk. So the shell spread 86-47. 86 is slang for get rid of.
So you're off next week, is that right?
Yep, I'm just got to get through today.
Ah,
Got 2 more wraps this afternoon, and I'm off for 6 days. Go back for 1 day, have 3 days off, and then go back for 2.5 days, and I'm out for summer.
so when is the last day of school? Must be in June then, huh?
It's going to be Thursday of the week after next. Whatever date that is. I think that's the 26th or the 27th or something.
26th, yeah.
Because
So
they have
that'd be like
Memorial
the-
Day. So that's why I said out of 10 days, I'll only be working 1 day.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'll literally work next Friday and have Memorial Day weekend off. My last paycheck for this year is gonna be shit. I had to take so many days off.
Yes, Brenda, it is a nice kind of day today. I went out early and picked up all kinds of branches and stuff off the yard and
Yeah,
pitched it out in the road. And
I gotta do some yard work. Yeah.
a little grooming.
What I do is I just rake everything up into 2 massive piles, take a tarp, put it next to it on the ground, and just rake everything onto the tarp and drag that shit out to the road and dump it in a big pile. And the truck comes by and gets it. The claw.
The United States essentially issuing a
It's the easiest way to do it.
must be held accountable.
Yeah, what I do is there's so much traffic on the street in front of me, is I throw like little twigs and whatever like this out in the road, and the cars go by and munch them up.
I wish they would give us a refuge bin for like leaves and stuff, but they don't. We only have a recycle and a trash bin. But you don't have to bag your shit up. You can just pile it up in a big pile, and they'll come by with the claw and grab it with the claw. So that's what I do. I just rake everything onto a tarp and then just drag it. 2 or 3 of us will pick it up, take it out to the front yard, just dump it, come back to the backyard, rake a bunch more shit on it, take it out, dump it. Do that 3 or 4 times, you're good. Takes like 20 minutes. You know, the whole backyard cleaned up. Morning, Brenda. I gotta get the back porch cleaned off. It's all dirty and shit from the wind blowing dirt and shit in there.
We had opened an investigation into 2016 Trump campaign's Russian contacts. White House said Trump fired Comey because he mishandled the investigation into Hillary Clinton's private email server.
Sarah's mom's looking into getting another house and then just letting us take over the mortgage on this one. It'll still be in her name, but we just pay it every month. See if she ends up doing that. 'Cause they're looking at it. They want to get something smaller. They want to downsize to a smaller house. So they're looking at a little 2-bedroom.
Are they renting now or are they gonna sell?
No, they own this house.
Okay.
Well, they have a mortgage on it, but they want us to take over the mortgage. It'll still be under Sarah's mom's name, but then she'll go and get another house, a smaller one.
Yeah, Boner. Boone just decided to come in from the backyard. He loves it that I keep the door cracked open like this, just wide enough for him to get in and out.
I know everybody talks about how, there's so many kids living at home these days until they're in their 30s. Well, it's almost impossible for anybody my fucking age to buy a house anymore. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, the
It used
price
to
of
be-
houses are so expensive.
Well, the thing is it used to be around $67,000 is what you needed to make in order to buy a home.
Yep.
Now it's almost double. It's like $130,000. That's what the bank wants you to be able to make a year minimum.
Yep.
2 people working regular jobs, just your regular $15, $20 an hour jobs, aren't making even close to that a year.
No, not when you figure the cost of living, plus it's the cost of the house. You've got the insurance, you've got utilities, all that kind of stuff. It's like,
Right. And like you said, the housing prices are so much higher now.
yep.
A house that clearly is worth 150,000 somehow got valued at 400. It's just like nobody my age can buy a fucking house anymore unless they come and do a bunch of money. Fucking sucks, I'll tell you that. I'd love to buy a home, but
Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Paul. Justin.
I don't even come close to qualifying for a house. I got the credit, but I don't have the income they want. I don't make $130,000 a year.
That's ridiculous. That.
Well, what do you want?
Just have to go to the bus company and say you need a raise.
I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. Being a county job, it's shit pay. And not to mention, we're in one of the richest counties in Florida. Like one of the top 2 or 3 richest counties.
I agree. Working for the council, you are lower paid than anybody else in the same industry in the private sector,
You're full of piss and vinegar this morning, aren't you?
but your benefits were so much better.
Oh yeah, the benefits are really good, but the pay sucks.
Yeah, they're way behind.
Dude, I couldn't even buy a shithole here, Donald. They're selling houses that look like they're about damn condemned for 150, 180,000. But like I said, you have to have a minimum like income requirement. And it's well over 70, 80,000 now.
Just to be able to cover the mortgage and live afterwards.
No, I saw a funny meme yesterday, right? And it said it was a guy and his face was like all like he was about to start crying, and he said, I can't get the bank won't approve me more for a mortgage for $1,800 a month, but I'm paying $2,200 a month for rent.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, like I said, even shitholes around here are going for crazy amounts of money. Like they're houses that look like they're damn near condemned.
Yeah.
You know? And then the problem is you're competing against companies that are coming in and buying entire neighborhoods.
Just to either do them up or demolish them and build a new one.
Yeah, or it could be a newer home and they'll outbid you because they're buying that house and the 10 houses next to it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's some kind of trust fund or some kind of, you know, big fund management company or whatever you want to call it. Pretty much like funds like BlackRock and shit. They buy millions of homes, thousands. You still got to have money to flip a home. I mean, it ain't cheap having work done on a home anymore either. I don't know how to do all that construction shit. I wouldn't be able to do it myself. To be honest with you.
Mm. Some of it's easy, some of it isn't.
Right, and then you gotta be up to a certain code, and you gotta know
Yeah,
all that shit. I don't know all that stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
Like if I had the time and the money, you know, to buy a project home and work on it myself, and I wouldn't have to worry about the money aspect of it, and then yeah, it'd be a fun and thing to get into. But you know, and you'd be able to sit and learn some stuff, you know, from somebody that knows what they're doing. But I definitely don't have the expertise to be flipping fucking houses for money. Fuck off. You kissed my ass with that last comment.
That's right, Dave. You have to file the document. President Trump has to prove that he is heading home.
What you doing today, Mark?
Not a lot today. It's blooming noisy out here today. I'm sat outside having a cuppa and a smoke. And next door but one, I've got a petrol jet washer going.
Is my volume low or is you just really low?
You sound all right at the moment.
Hold on, I gotta turn my let me check my audio on my computer.
Good morning, Don.
My name's Justin. I ride the bus. Pay me more money.
Funny.
It takes skills. I have to yell at people if they go past the stop sign. Stop. The stop sign means stop.
Oh, my volume's turned all the way up. Okay.
Justin's looking for a way to turn his volume up even louder so he can tell me to fuck off again. How do I get my mic to max out so I can tell Dawn? How can I control Dawn's volume so I can make it louder on his end?
Morning, everybody, and good afternoon, Mark.
No, Justin, you're right about institutional buying of houses. I think that's something that needs to
That's
stop.
what's fucking everything up, I'm telling you.
I mean, there's more houses now than ever before, but they're all owned and being rented.
Sorry, Brandon,
yeah.
I'm not talking to you.
And that there's a difference between someone who say me, if I decided to downsize and rent this house out. There'd be a difference between that and being like a small scale renter versus a company that owns 1,000 units.
Can I just borrow a moment? Brenda, the reason I'm not talking to you is because last night, out of the blue, GoFundMe decided to look back at transactions that people have tried to make and added them all together as missed payments and then transfer that money themselves onto my account. And most of them was Brenda, and they dumped 400 quid on my GoFundMe. which means now I'm £100 away from the makeup.
Oh man, I thought it was something serious.
That's it. It just went. Doink. So actually, Brenda, I am talking to you. Thank you very much. And there.
And he says thank you from the bottom of his
Makeup bag.
change of life heart. Yep.
No, that old neighborhood I lived in though, my house and like 20 other homes are owned by like an investment fund.
Mm-hmm.
Same over here. Everything's owned by someone richer than you.
Good morning, Ed.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Ed. How are you?
Our Avenue's only got 10 houses on it, and 3 of them are all
Doggy.
owned by the same rental company.
Edward.
Yes,
We
sir.
can't we can't
That doesn't
we
that
can't
doesn't
see the
look
dog
right.
yet. It looks like you're stroking yourself.
Edward, you're stroking there. If you don't mind, if you could just fade yourself into the background and bring the dog forward.
Oh yeah, there he
There
is.
he is.
BlackRock's
Because
estimated.
you're over there going like this and sideways. I'm going, what the hell's he doing?
Yeah, BlackRock's estimated to own 59,000 homes. I figured it would have been in the millions, but at
Yeah,
least in the
and
million
most of
or
those,
two.
a lot of those homes, these new construct, we have a construction company around here that do the most shoddy. They throw up these entire neighborhoods, and it is the worst construction. And these houses, they have no character. I sat there and drive through some of the older parts of town. It's like, man, back when people would like you have this like Spanish style houses, or you have this style, and I don't picture anybody 50 or 60 years from now driving through one of these neighborhoods and looking at these houses saying, man, these houses had style. It's just,
Yeah, they're what they call cookie cutter homes. Every fourth house
Mhm.
looks the same. Yeah. So a lot of the houses around, a lot of
I
the
live in
neighborhoods
one.
around here look.
I live in
Yeah.
one that has no style. It looks just like in fact, it has the exact same floor plan as the neighbor's house.
Let's be honest here, right? If you didn't keep copying everything we freaking do, you wouldn't have this problem. Because that's exactly what we have over here. Every house is the same. Every layout, everything. They've gone down this route now where you don't need a separate kitchen. Your kitchen and living room can be in one.
Oh yeah, studio.
Yeah.
We've had
Screw the
studios.
fact that 90% of fires start in the kitchen, right? And that 90% of your stuff, good stuff, is in your living room, right? So now they're in the one room. You might as well just kiss it all goodbye.
Or just don't start fires.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah, there's an easy way out. Don't cook.
Well, keep a small fire extinguisher.
Look, if I didn't start the fires, Laura wouldn't get excited when the firemen turned up.
Ah.
And then I get like a bit of peace.
Well,
You
here,
deal with it.
like in the neighborhood I used to live in, every fourth house was the same.
Yeah. Stay open. You want to see the ones they're building in Blackpool? Well, not just Blackpool, everywhere. They're having these coloured fronts. They look like clown houses, right? And every bedroom can fit one wardrobe, one bed. They're just getting smaller and smaller.
The square footage has gone down. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would say American homes are still pretty standard on the size.
Yeah, American homes are still far larger. You talk about our parents
Yeah.
being able to afford a home.
Louis.
Those homes were also probably half the size of what a comparable home would be
Right back.
now.
Oh yeah,
American
they're
homes have
definitely
gotten
bigger.
a lot bigger.
Yeah, but the houses back in the day, they're not built like they are now. Now they're just a couple pieces of 2x4s and houses
Well,
built.
The houses here, I would say the structure of the houses are built really well. It's just a lot of the shit they put in the houses is crap. Like the cabinets are all press board. Nothing's real wood anymore.
Mhm.
Everything's press board.
Well, Yeah.
Cause well, here they have to be constructed to a certain standard
Well,
because of
Justin, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go find an old barn
Louis, Leo.
and reclaim the wood and take that to your local carpenter and have some lovely
Hold
cabinets
on.
made out of this reclaimed barn wood.
like if you wanted to buy an old Victorian home and like restore it to its original, God, you would spend so much money if you wanted like real wood, like crown
My
molding.
uh,
and all that.
mother-in-law lives in a old 120, 100 and some odd year old home, and doing any work on that, no standard measurements, and all their lumber. Our lumber is thinner now than it was then. So a 2x4 is not as big as a 2x4 was back then. And so trying to do any type of repair on that house is a pain in the ass. We had to jack up one wall and replace the baseboard around the foundation in one section. Oh my gosh, that was a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Like I said too, like if you wanted to restore
What is it
to
called? It's not baseboard. What's the board that goes between the foundation and the actual structure of the house?
Your floor.
No. This is the framing stage.
You trust this?
Anyway, it was part of the framing of the house that we had to replace.
I don't know.
What's up, Jim?
Your
We built
beams?
our brick walls directly onto the foundation.
Was there your beam?
Mm-mm.
So yeah, that's how hard. That's why I
Nope,
said
this
that.
is there's a name for it. Anyway,
There's
yeah,
your
we
beam
had.
and then there's your trusses that go like this, right?
No, he's talking about the floor, not the
I'm
ceiling.
talking
down,
about.
down along the floor where the
I'm
walls are.
talking where the foundation is. The very first piece of wood that comes along in the framing of the house. So it's like on a load-bearing wall on the foundation, and there's a name for that first.
Like a 2x12.
Well, it's not the measurement. There's an actual name for the actual part of the construction.
So it
But
rotted. It
But anyway,
rotted out.
it had rotted, and so we had to cut out a section
Replace
of it.
Okay.
Use basically house jacks to support it, and then hammer in a new. Actually, we had to get a overcut board, plane it down to the thickness, because you couldn't get that size, so you had to get a larger thickness, plane it down to match, then hammer in. It was a pain in the butt. See, Justin, that's the kind of thing you need to learn.
Yeah,
Just start flipping houses.
Yeah, but you gotta have the money to put up to start doing that. Though,
Yeah, have you thought about flipping bicycles?
Bicycles.
Hey, there are some people that make money flipping bicycles for lawnmowers.
I can ride my bicycle with no handle.
Oh my gosh, there's a guy out north of town. He'll drive around, and you'll find lawnmowers parked by the side of the road. Here, just take them because somebody's given up on them. He takes all of them, and he will build you a Franken mower.
but it will work though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's guys that do that too. With there's a lot of guys around here that flip appliances too. Like I was about when I was moving out of our old house about 7-8 years ago. I had a washer and dryer, and I was about to take it out to the side of the road, and the guy saw we were moving out, and he walks into the garage. He says, "Hey, you want to get rid of that washer and dryer?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll give you $50 for each." I said, "All right." I was about to put him out by the road. If he would have been 10 minutes later, he would have ended up getting them for free.
Take it.
But now, if I have a washer and dryer, like my sister had a washer and dryer to get rid of a few weeks ago, I said, "Don't put it out by the road." I said, "Put it on Facebook Marketplace. You don't know what's wrong with it, or if it works, it works fine. 50, 60 bucks. I said, somebody will come within an hour and pick it up. I said, they scoop those things up all day long because they'll turn around and flip it for $200-300 and they'll fix whatever's wrong with it. These guys just literally do it out of their garages. They know how to work on them.
Mm-hmm. That's what he does. He takes the mowers, pulls them apart. If he can fix that one, he'll fix it. If he can't, he'll strip it for parts, salvage the rest.
Many years ago, when I lived in that shit place called Blackpool, where I met Laura, yeah, they used to have like alleyways, so we used to call it alleying, what you guys call flipping. And we got out, we'll walk down the alleyways night before bin day and just pick out like tools and stuff, anything we could sell on.
Oh, we don't call that flipping. We call that dumpster diving.
Well, whatever you want to call it. Well, one day me and Laura was walking up this alleyway, saw this nice table, real nice table, all tiled top, everything. I was like, that's going to be worth about 50, 60 quid. So I picked it up. I was like, fuck, that's heavy. So Laura's got one end, I've got the other end, and we'll start walking with it. And then this van pulls up at the side of us and he goes, oh, you want to lift with that? Oh, if you don't mind. He went, yeah, go on, put it in the back of the van. Where are you going? So I told him where I was going to. Halfway up the road, he went, I've got one of these exact tables in the alleyway down there. I was like, oh, shit. The fucking guy gave me a lift with his own table. He'd only put it out when he was cleaning the floor. Thank you very much.
Well, guys, I got the long weekend off today. Oh.
My long weekend starts today too, after I get off tonight.
When Justin's finished with the bus ride home today, you're off for 7 days?
6 days.
6
Oh,
days.
nice.
Then I go back for 1 day and then have another 3 days off for Memorial Day.
Nice. I'm off today because it's raining and thunder. And then Monday is a holiday, so
And by the way, Donald, don't encourage Justin to flip bike. We couldn't even flip his finger off to people passing the bus.
Yeah, I actually know how to work on bikes. I did a lot of that when I was a teenager. My cousin, my uncle went to them. I don't know why the Marine base had these, but they had like, oh, dude, I'm not even kidding. My uncle probably bought 5,000 bicycles in this big lot that they were auctioning off. And there was a lot of good BMX bikes and stuff in there, but there was a lot of frames and stuff. Me and my cousin did that for about 6 or 8 months. We were just piecing bikes together and selling them for like 30, 40 bucks to other kids that wanted bikes. We were selling them real cheap. I've worked on bikes tons. I know how to work on those. That's easy.
I've got about 4 bike frames in my garage.
I got 4 of them sitting out on the back porch from the kids' bikes over the years.
Donald,
Just get rid of
them
them.
things you were talking about, they're called cinder blocks.
No, we're talking about wood.
no, they're not cinder blocks. They have a different name.
Sill plate. It may have popped into my head.
Still pipe?
That's because you've got all wood framed houses.
Yeah, first they do the foundation here and then they put those, I think it's
Yes, a sill plate.
14 by 2. The big white boards around the foundation and they start building the floors.
I hope FedEx gets here before I have to go back on and get my new phone.
I don't know how that popped
Phone, Justin?
back in my head, but the sill plate goes on before your floor joists.
Got my
Your sill
S20.
plate, then your joists go on. There's just a small little barrier.
Yeah, I got my S23 Ultra coming today.
Oh no, they texted me. They said they were going to be delayed for another 2 weeks, Justin.
Yeah, right. I got my new
I'm
phone case
surprised
yesterday.
we haven't got construction like Lego bricks. Yeah. I mean, literally Lego bricks where you just clip them together.
Well, people keep saying that we're going to have the 3D printed houses, and I wouldn't be surprised if,
You've already started them.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they're always a stunt. They're not really.
Oh,
When
because they
it's getting
probably
3D
don't
printed
follow.
over here, they print the walls and then they ship them to site and then clip them together. They don't completely 3D print the house.
Yeah, I don't think they really follow building codes over here in a lot of areas. I don't really know how strong a wall would be with 100 layers of concrete on top of each other.
Look at that guy in Kensington, London. He was fixing the roof and he found this piece of metal sticking out the wall and he went, well, that shouldn't be there. Pulled it out and the whole fucking building collapsed. Maybe it should have been there.
I think,
4 million
David, that you've been
pound
watching Looney Tunes cartoons and thinking
No.
they were documentaries.
It was a £4 million house and it all fell into the basement.
David likes Looney Tunes. Is that what you're saying, Don?
Who doesn't like Looney Tunes?
Everybody loves Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes are awesome.
Looney Tunes, Looney Tunes.
Hello. You should have been done already. You are done.
I like your poster beside you there, Don. Is that a chainsaw or on a
The wall.
board there?
Yeah,
you're
that's
probably right.
Evil Dead.
Could have to be.
The Evil Dead. Okay.
Yeah. I really like my cameraman.
Oh yeah, it's moving all the time when you move.
He could be a little steadier, but
Oh,
not
I
bad.
think it's doing a great job. It's like you've got somebody there, an assistant that's doing it.
Good job, cameraman.
No, Looney Tunes was invented for kids, but they put a lot of innuendos in there that kids will not
Actually,
get.
Looney Tunes were not invented for kids. They were invented for audiences that included kids and adults.
All good cartoons have innuendos in there.
Mhm. They were intended for family entertainment, and that included kids, that included adults. So they had to put some stuff in there that would make adults laugh too. So that is good. Good. I can complete that task. Get that out of my bin. So we're good there. Today is a day of trying to hopefully catch up. Okay, so I need to do that.
Me too,
That's
Don.
a new one.
Today is a day of me relaxing.
What is that supposed to be?
I talked to Matt today this morning. He's doing pretty good.
I haven't heard from him for a while.
Yeah, he messaged me this morning and I messaged him back, and then I ended up calling him on Messenger and we talked for a few minutes.
What's he up to?
Just working a lot. Driving the trucks.
He's still doing just local, or is he doing more distance stuff now?
No, he just does local. Watch this. So they've been taking movie clips and doing AI babies over.
Yes, the
Tipped.
Yeah, seen them.
When you viewed the defendants walking from their car into the sack of suds, what angle was your point of view?
They was kind of walking toward me when they entered the store.
And when they left, what angle was your point of view?
They was kind of walking away from me.
So would you say you got a better shot of them going in and not so much coming out?
You could say that.
I did say that. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Is it possible the two youths,
To what? Oh, what was that word?
what were,
To what?
what?
Did you say utes?
Yeah, two youths.
What is a ute?
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. Two youths. Mr. Tipton.
yeah, I've been watching the ones that they do with the Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn.
You guys will know this.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
Oh, man. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. That's funny as shit. I had to repost them. I was laughing my ass off.
Now, where are those found?
All the
Facebook.
ones I was finding were on TikTok. I was just downloading them and reposting.
Okay, because I don't do TikTok.
But I gave them better titles than what they gave them. my baby Vinny and a few good babies, because theirs were just like generic titles. So
This is why you have to be careful around Justin. He'll always steal someone else's content and use it as his own. Just
I
change a
didn't
few
claim I
words.
made them.
His.
I just reposted them because I thought they were funny.
They posted them to your YouTube.
So
Your YouTube under a new name, making new money.
they haven't even. I don't even think they've gotten that many views.
That's plagiarism, Justin. That's plagiarism.
Shut
Just
up.
like you did with your exams at school.
Okay, Justin, be a little more original. Go find the AI that's being used to generate that and do conversions
Your
that no
own.
one's doing yet.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
you
done.
could
They
do a
didn't
bus
actually-
driver and a bus monitor and the kids on the bus.
No,
The wheels on the bus go round and
filming the
round,
kids on the
round
bus.
and round.
Do Halloween or the Terrifier.
But they
I wonder
didn't
what the
have on
Terrifier would
their.
look like.
They didn't have on their thing any what software they were using. I was trying
I'm
to
sure
figure
you
that
could look
out
it up.
last night, but they didn't. On the ones I got those from, they didn't have like any hashtags with the software or anything or description.
Oh, you could have loads of fun with Blazing Saddles with them.
Because I was trying to find the software last night, but I just looked in the description of their videos and stuff they had on TikTok, but they didn't list what they were using. So I don't know which program it was. Now, do you think that they're saying they're using AI, but do you think there's any video editing in that, Donald?
My initial guess, and just knowing how AI has done, but it could be better now, is that they had separated out the clips. So they took the sequence and chopped up for each scene and then fed each scene into AI separately. But I could be wrong.
Okay.
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
know if you could do that on
AI
an
has
editor.
made so much advancements that it's getting hard to tell
That's
the
what I
process
was
now.
trying to figure out because I couldn't figure out which program they were using. And I
Hey,
didn't know
Paul.
if they were using AI mixed with some like really good editing or
Okay, let's see.
Yes, David.
I was just reading the chat here.
Yeah,
Tim
no
said
problem.
hi.
Yeah, I said hi to Jim a minute ago.
Hey, Jim.
He said
What's up,
nobody is
Warren?
reading the
How's it
check.
going?
All right. How to make the new viral AI baby videos.
I think Lego has a patent and be specifically.
Well, Jim, it's life, Jim, but not as we know it. That's how the panel goes. I need more monitor screens.
Well, Jim made an interesting comment. I'm not that in depth into it, but he says he thought in the beginning Looney Tunes was invented for the music primarily, then for entertainment.
Actually, he is correct. Looney Tunes is an offshoot of Disney had the Silly Symphonies, and so then Warner Brothers came out with Merry Melodies, and Merry Melodies was to sell popular music of the time, and then Looney Tunes came out after that. But part of it was to put in their popular music of the Warner Brothers library to get people to hum along and enjoy the song and then purchase the song.
Okay.
Morning, Lance.
Lance.
And the guy, his name is escaping me, Leo something, I believe, who was head of Warner Brothers. He had a yacht that was called Merry Melodies because Merry Melodies made him so much money, and he hated the Looney Tunes when they came out. And people started saying, well, it's making more money for you now than Merry Melodies did. So as a concession, he had a little dinghy strung out behind his Merry Melodies yacht that said Looney Tunes. These are the facts that live inside my head.
Morning, Lance.
Let's go to the magic bookshelf.
You are right there, Jim. I apologize. I am trying to do a lot of things on my computer, but
You go to the magic bookshelf.
spreaded,
You can find that history
I
right
spread
here.
the chat out.
Oh,
And that's
what's
all,
that?
folks.
That has the history of it?
Oh yeah, it's got all kinds of history of Looney Tunes, different eras, different artists, and
You see,
Good
Donald
read.
is what we call the intelligence. They don't store everything in the brain. They're just fast at researching it in books and online.
what?
Well, you've got a book
Get him,
on every
Donald.
subject.
Get him, Donald. You wouldn't let me get away with a comment like that.
I'm still trying to understand what he's trying to say. I
I'm
mean, all
saying
the
you're very
words
good
sound
at
like
research.
English, but it doesn't make any sense.
I'm saying you're good at researching shit.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not gonna get on. He's basically saying, I'm not artificial intelligence. I'm actual intelligence. I'm not insulted by that.
Oh,
There you go. See, Justin, you shit staring little shit.
Don, you're gonna take that? Don, you're gonna take that from a guy from the UK? Come on.
I like the UK.
He just doesn't like Canada. Back it in.
The only problem with the UK is that it's not more American.
I know. I know he doesn't like Canada. He told me off the other day.
I
My
like
phone-
Canada. I love
my-
Canada.
My phone died.
I love Canada.
Somebody
He
Canada's
else.
hurt he hurt my feelings that evening. I couldn't sleep.
Oh, you know what?
I was stressed
Maybe-
out.
Maybe you should consider the source before getting your feelings hurt. If you realized, oh, he's a jackass from Missouri, I couldn't hurt your feelings if I tried, if you thought of it that way.
I went to work the next day. All I did was yell at my guys.
I mean, I walk down the street and there's a dog down the street that I've walked by him 100 times, but he still barks at me every time I walk by. I don't let it affect me.
Okay, Donna, I love you.
Speaking of the job you were doing yesterday, the cement job, how long did it take to cure before you could finish it off and leave?
3 hours.
3 hours to cure? Damn, it must have been sick.
Yes, sir. And when I took the board out, there was a lot of holes, so it took me 45 minutes to fix it.
So every place that the cement didn't settle, there was a hole you had to take and put new cement in?
Yeah, we forgot to spray it with oil on the boards. So all the cement got stuck into the board when I pulled it out. Then I had to patch it back in. It worked out okay.
They are denied even the news by Combs after a resurfaced video of 15-year-old being speculation. They avoid several courthouses. It's got the story for us this morning. I need it more.
Hey, David, Bill, good morning to you. So testimony is beginning right now. City courtroom behind you, but the big news, as you mentioned, coming from pop star Justin Bieber,
Where's Captain Joe? Is he sick?
I think he's boycotting us. I don't know.
Don't blame him.
Good morning, East Coast. Yes, sir. We use oil too, but diesel works too.
So he says you spray it with diesel, but you just use regular oil?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am cement finisher.
Now, do you ever get any side jobs doing cement on your own?
No.
You
Might
don't
not
want
be
to hassle
allowed
with
to.
that, or
That's right. Justin just said the big word.
what's that?
He might not be allowed to because of his company.
Yeah.
He gets caught doing side projects. They might fucking fire his ass.
Yeah. It has happened.
I mean, it'd be one thing if he was doing like probably you're okay doing like a slab
Yeah,
for
yeah,
your family
yeah.
or something, but not
Yeah.
for just going out and making money. Yeah,
No.
because you're pretty much technically you're cutting into their business. So
Yeah, and then they're gonna start thinking you're taking stuff from work and steal. You know.
yeah, conflict of interest.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, East Coast.
I know.
We-
Working for doing video for years, the number of pixels I brought home in a bucket.
Oh. All those selfie sticks you stole from work.
The bad thing about bringing home all those pixels in a bucket is it still takes a lot of time to reassemble them once you get home. Because you throw all the pixels in the bucket and they get mixed up.
What do you do, East Coast, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, the thing is too is like say you're a concrete guy. He does concrete too. So
Oh,
if you're a concrete guy and you're doing basically industrial projects, then you probably could get away with doing like, you know, like
Pads for an air conditioner.
Yeah, pads for a house or like a driveway, something that's not in it. But if that's your main bread and butter, you definitely don't want to be cutting into that because then I could see your company getting pissed at you.
Okay, Justin, it looks like what they're doing first is going into ChatGPT
Okay.
and having it take a still image and say, hey, turn this into a baby until they get one they like. And then they're taking that into a video animation software to make still images come to life and having it lip sync, or basically based on the audio, it will animate. So it looks like it's a 2-step process. And I will guarantee at that point they are chopping it down into separate scenes, most likely.
So they're doing, it's like half editing, half AI.
I wouldn't even call it any editing. It looks like it's a two process AI. So you run it
Okay.
through one AI to first get your initial reference frame, then run it through AI again to do the lip sync.
Okay.
And
Now let me ask you, if you were good enough, like you're really good at editing, could you do that kind of editing without using AI? Is that possible? I guess
not
it
as
would
good as
be.
AI. I mean, it would be very time consuming, and you'd get something that looked like remember how the baby geniuses talked?
Yeah, so it wouldn't look all
I
that
mean,
great.
you're looking at probably doing, if you're wanting to change, basically take these characters and replace them with a baby in the same scene. No, I don't think it wouldn't be practical. You would basically probably, if you had to do that for real without AI, you would reset the scene with actual baby actors and dress them in the costumes and basically build the scene out with the babies. After
Oh
you get the
God, you're
babies,
talking hours just to do a 2 minute clip.
after you get the babies caught on a clean plate, then you would do a full face replacement with 3D, and
Yeah,
then animate based on 3D. You could use facial trackers probably on an adult to do that. But he
yeah,
says it
so
was
that
done
would be
in
hours just to do
Lance.
like a 30-second clip on.
Lance says it was done in Chat GPT and then Kling AI.
Okay.
We're not talking about hours, Justin. We're talking about to do these like this. I mean, you're talking about weeks.
Okay.
And this is why. Can anybody AI baby TJ?
Oh, that would be hilarious.
You know what?
Do it
That
of him
might be
laughing.
something I do. That might be something I do this evening.
Do it of him laughing.
East Coast asked if did you buy that X5 done?
I was thinking about doing that today. I have not bought it yet.
Well, like you said, you want to be focused when you go in there to do it, and well rested.
Yeah, I
So
don't want to make it.
and then decide.
I'm gonna buy it. I don't want to do it when I'm sleepy, because then, or when I'm just burned out, because then I'm like, did I just make a bad decision?
You start questioning. You'll go take a nap and then decide.
Well, here's the thing. I've done video for years and years and years. And now that I'm not going to be doing it professionally anymore, I'm getting rid of big stuff like this. I got rid of my other camera already. I'm not getting rid of this. I love this camera. It only shoots
God, that thing's a
1080p.
beast.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's a
it only shoots
1970,
1080p. This actually came from
Is
the
that a
early 2000. No, it takes SD cards.
Okay.
Oh wow.
It shoots 1080p. That's it. So no 4K on this. But I put so many hours on this thing that I couldn't see it go to a landfill. So I kept it. But I'm getting rid of all that stuff because when you're doing commercial work, you take time and build stuff. And I think my relationship to video is going to become more grab and go. So cell phone, GoPro, maybe the X5, small scale, just grab and go cameras that are just in your pocket and easy to use.
You turn that thing into a nice little wall hanger.
So that one just takes SD cards, you said?
Yeah, it takes standard SD cards.
Oh wow.
It takes 2 of them. So if one good reason to have that type of a setup, and actually my Sony does too, is that if you're doing like a long interview, and actually I would prefer, Sony shoots 4K, but it gets a little warm. That one is designed to shoot long form video, and you can swap out the SD card. So you're recording to one. After you've gone a certain amount of time, it switches over to the other SD card. So you pop out the first one, put a fresh one in, and then it just keeps recording. So you can do super long recordings and
Alright.
then take them back in and stitch them all together. So,
And you don't have
If I
to
had-
stop while you're switching cards. You can just do it.
right, it just
run
continues and it just automatically rolls over into the other card.
Nice.
And so
Oh,
I could, if I had to go shoot like a long form, like long hour-long thing, I would probably use that.
What's the cap on the memory card that can go in it?
I don't know what the cap is. I use 32 gig, just like these.
I'm gonna guess if it's a little older, probably 32 or 64 is probably.
all
gonna
the
be
big
its
ones,
max.
okay.
So
So I can set up that in my bedroom?
do what?
I can set up that in my bedroom?
No,
Uh-oh.
I probably use a phone for short form.
Oh,
This
I'll
is for
set it-
doing longer recordings, not 2.5 minutes.
Donald, there's a thing in the chat from Al about the X5.
Oh, according to X5 is garbage. Well, that's
But that's individual opinions at the end of the day.
yeah. I've heard
good morning.
different
Frank.
things.
Because it might not be something that
What's
I guarantee the X5 is better than my GoPro Fusion from 2004. I think it was that came out.
oh god, I'd hope so. It's almost what a 21 year difference in technology.
Okay, let's hear what their complaint is. Well, yeah. Okay, he's saying 8K is a lie. Is it because somebody doesn't understand the concept of 360 video?
And how well is he into cameras? I mean, does he know his shit, or is he some just random tech reviewer
No,
that's
it's
just
it looks like a pretty nice animated video.
well, what I'm saying is you got some tech reviewers that cover all different types of tech, and they're not
Well-
generally experts in that specific tech, you know what I'm saying?
Morning, Frank.
Is he a camera guy, or is he just generally whatever's new come out, he's buying and reviewing?
No, I'm reading to see what he's doing right now. Okay, so this guy's basically
Oh,
just
sorry to
describing
hear that.
the actual limitations of a 360 camera so far, which you have to.
Frank said he had a tornado going through his neighborhood
Okay,
last night.
9% of the sensor is actually capturing data, and 41% of the sensor.
And like I said, it does come down to a personal opinion, because some people are just overly, their expectations are set way too high for products. So I don't know if I don't know.
Yeah.
Donald would know more about whether he has a general complaint that would make sense, or if he's just being over zealous with his review. Some
And
people
it's
are
all
just like
depends on
that.
the
though.
person too.
Well, like I said, so yeah, even big guys that know
Okay.
their shit, sometimes their expectations.
okay.
are just set
He's
too
not
high.
saying this video is not saying it's garbage. It's saying that calling it 8K is not technically accurate because it's using a square crop on that sensor. And when you take that square crop and then add those pixels together, you're not getting a full 8K resolution. Okay, but that's a limitation of a 360 camera.
And Donald, do you own a 360 camera?
I have a Fusion, yeah.
There you go, Lance. He does.
Oh, Lance asking.
Justin, did you know your Samsung S23 connected to the 360 camera?
No, I didn't look in. I don't really use the camera on the phone I have now, so I don't
No,
really use the
but
camera.
there is
feature.
an option on your S23 Ultra to
Okay,
have
I'm watching.
the camera. So you use both cameras at the same time if you're recording a video.
Oh, did you do?
Okay, he says it's not worth it. He says watching it and he says it's not worth it. But does he say it's not worth it to own any 360 camera, or is he saying this does not replace other cameras? Because if you're comparing this 360 camera to other cameras, maybe it's not worth it. But this compared to other 360 cameras, you have to compare what is its function, what is it for. If he's saying that you're better off doing just a GoPro or something for a vlogging camera, then maybe he's right.
Or
But
maybe he just doesn't like the
different
price
cameras
point.
are designed for different functions. That camera I picked up earlier, heavy camera, if I had to record long form, that's the way I would go, is with bigger camera.
What's the highest frame rate you can do on that? It was a 1080 60. Or
On
was it
which?
1080 on that camera you were showing us.
I
It was a 1080
believe
30.
I believe it's 60.
Okay, that's not bad. Even I mean, that's still good resolution by today's standard.
Have a good one, East Coast.
I'm still watching here though. So he is comparing.
All right, Dusty, we'll see you later.
Hey, David. Hey, David, how does the phone do a 360? Isn't it supposed to spin around? Isn't that what 360 means?
It means that
No.
you capture everything around.
Everything around you. So it will use all the camera lenses and angles on your device while you're recording the video.
Because you got to think a phone has a front and forward or a front and backwards camera.
Now you've had it, here comes
And the megapixels are like on the like on a lot of the flagship phones, the megapixels are getting crazy.
Here comes Dre to tell me why I'm wrong.
Evening, Dre. Or morning, Dre.
Morning, Dre.
You're no sound,
Can't hear you,
Dre.
Dre.
Oh, we got
Using that Temu switchboard again. It's not the YOLO box, it's the Bolo box from Temu.
No, we can't hear you, Dre.
Uh-oh.
Good, good. He clicked on that link I sent him. His sound's not working now.
I like that. We did a little bit of a laugh.
Nope,
Still nothing.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, there you go.
No.
Okay, he's
oh,
wrong.
it's breaking up real bad.
It's breaking up real bad.
Yeah,
Scratchy.
And the guy who's doing this video is wrong. He's saying that each of the lenses is shooting at the 8K, but it's not actually. The sensors are 11K, and it's actually recording to 8K. So, yep, that video is incorrect.
Here we go.
When I find a factual, when I find something factually incorrect, I dismiss their entire opinion.
Oh, that was like the guy the other day that was comparing the S22 Ultra to the S25, and he had the nits wrong on the screen. It was like the S22 only has 1500. I said, no, it's 1750.
Well, if someone makes a simple mistake, then I'll ignore it. But if their entire premise is built on a mistake, and still, like I said, is the 360, is it going to be as 360 camera? Is it going to replace this? No, it's not going to replace this.
I'm just going to go back
because it does a different job. It's for a different purpose. The 360 camera is to do a specific job.
Yeah, just let me go back a bit on what Donald said there. Like he just said, if it's a premise that, if it's just a genuine mistake, he's fine. But if it's a premise on everything's a mistake, then he goes after him, which is why he's more British than American.
So the 360 camera.
Now you're echoing.
And I'm sure that that Dre will mention this as well. It's
Christ,
not
I
a
have to
true
turn my volume up.
4K.
Lance, you're very low as well.
Yeah, Lance, we can hardly hear you.
Everybody's been low for me. I think it's Zoom acting up.
Can you guys hear
all
me?
my volumes are turned up.
Lance, are you going to talk about how the 8K image is
Still
stretched
nothing,
out over
Dre.
the entire 360 field of view? And so when you actually crop in, you're actually cropping in on the 8K image, so you're getting a much lower resolution deliverable.
Which your DSLR is going to give you that true 4K or whatever it is.
Right. Right. And
None.
like I said, it is a different camera and it has a different job to do.
Correct.
That doesn't mean it's crap. If you
That's
judge fish on how well they climb trees
I heard something.
compared to a cat, fish are going to be failures all the time. But throw a cat in the water and the fish out beats it for that job. So
It
Can you
is
hear
what
me now,
it is,
Justin?
right?
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
hear you
Yeah.
now.
Okay. Now, you guys getting a buzzing sound also on my mic?
No,
no,
No.
we're
not on
good.
my end though.
No, because other night when I went on, I guess, what's his name was from Australia was hosting Paul, what's his name show on Sunday night. They kept saying I had some kind of buzzing feedback. I kept putting on all the numbers and I just gave up. So I had to go back see what I did switch it back.
Yeah, your audio's like cutting in and out. What is going? Are you sure you're on that microphone? It
Yeah,
almost
I'm on
sounds
that
like
mic.
Give it a
tap
tap.
it. Yeah, tap it. No,
Nope.
you're not.
You're not on that mic.
Sound like you're on a webcam, Mike, to be honest.
I got my mic set to my sound black TV with
Check your Zoom settings. It might not be on the right thing
yeah.
in Zoom.
Let me check the Zoom settings. Settings. Yeah, Zoom settings says it's on the mic. That mic.
And something's not registering somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody's echoing as well.
Actually,
I don't hear an echo.
yeah.
Now,
Okay, Justin,
Mark.
are you going to be making a TJ baby?
Mark, that's in your head.
It would take me a few days to figure out all those.
I might be doing if
You would
everything goes
figure
to
it out faster than I would.
if everything goes to plan today, I'm going to be pretty much clear after 2:00. And I
Oh,
was going
yeah.
to go buy that X5 at 2:00, but if it's crap, I might just stay here and make a TJ baby.
I think you need to.
That'd be cool. So what are we talking about with the 360 camera?
We
Anybody
still
can hear me?
can't. Dre, you're still really low, dude.
Now I'm low, and then I was cutting out earlier. Still
Hey,
low.
that sounds a little better.
Okay, I'm trying to get it right. How
so
about now?
who we hearing who's got it
We
playing
can
in the
hear you.
background?
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I just had to adjust some stuff in Zoom. But what is it about the 360 camera? Because I was talking about the other day with Lance and things. I'm figuring out. I just picked up an old Fusion and learning some things about it and the quality of it. And I think I caught the last bit what Don was talking about is that every camera doesn't do everything that other cameras do.
Yep.
It's built for specific things.
Did you get
and-
one like that?
Yes, my Fusion.
And
is
are you
sitting-
having to your software to stitch this? I have to run it through what was that software that I've got on here? I can't remember what it, but to run it as far as the Fusion Studio app, and it was
Before
a pain
y'all
in the
get
ass
into
to
your deep
find.
conversation, I gotta jump off. I'll catch y'all later.
Okay.
Bye, Justin.
Well, that's why I was saying that unless you have Adobe Premiere or some other software, high-end software where you're paying out of the nose for it, you have to rely upon the app. And what I had to figure out is that I had to get the subscription to get the keyframes to come up.
Oh,
Because
okay.
without that, the keyframe thing won't show up in the app.
I don't know. I haven't edited on that Fusion app because I have had Adobe Premiere.
Right.
Does DaVinci offer 360 editing?
I don't know, but I don't use DaVinci either. So I just have to go. With
That's
what
something
I
you might
use.
look at. I mean, that'd be a free solution that might.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, it's either here or there. I
Right.
try to use what I have. But then you're talking about I got to get DaVinci, learn DaVinci.
Now, were you wanting
convert
to
it.
use it to shoot regular video and do reframing? Is that what your plan was?
Basically, it's just an added element. That's all it is. I wouldn't try. I don't think 360 cameras is something anybody wants to watch for 3 to 5 minutes alone. It's a nice little snippet of footage that maybe lasts 5 to 10 seconds.
Right. Well, I put up a 360 video of my dune buggy driving through the Carthage Square, and
Right.
it's like you're doing a ride along, and you can look around. But after
Right.
a while, the problem with doing 360 as far as
on my phone.
posting that, yeah, it really is just a short. Hey, take a look at this here, and then you look around, and then you're done. There's no narrative to it.
Right.
You can't
Right.
really edit a narrative, and
Yeah. And I took mine out on the bridge.
a 360 roller coaster ride would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, but like I said, how long does a roller coaster ride
Right.
last?
A couple minutes, and so
A couple of minutes top. That's about
it-
it. And it's a special thing on a roller coaster.
Right.
So you
So
get
what
a nice
360
effect.
and especially the X5, once you get higher resolutions, the Fusion still pretty low. Doing a reframing where you can just record everything and then punch in and actually record pieces of something
Mhm.
and use that as in your edit.
Right.
That can be useful.
So like I said, I took mine out and did a little walk on the bridge with it and
Mhm.
stuff. And like I was telling Lance, you got to understand the limitations of the range of the camera.
Mhm.
Like I guess on the Fusion, it has the limitation of you don't need to have it no further than about 22 inches away from you. Then
Oh
then
no,
everything's-
no, that wide angle lens, if you're wanting to record yourself, it better be up in your face.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you want details, it needs to be close. That's why I say 22 inches is about
Yeah.
as far as you're gonna get with detail. You'll get everything else in the picture, but it starts to get very soft looking as the farther out something is. And I took it on the bridge, so I'm showing some of the workers of their activities, keyframing it around where it shows me walking and back to the workers. And like I say, at one end, it makes like the guys are even twice as far away from me than what they actually were,
Mhm.
because of the
How wide it
360 or
is.
the wide angle lens
Yeah.
it is and everything, that kind of stuff. So I'm learning with it. So I ended up getting the GoPro stick, and that's why I learned about the max distance if you want to do vlogging type stuff. And
Yeah.
you said this is about as far
Um,
as you want to be.
Yeah, the Fusion or a 360 camera, it really shouldn't be a vlogging camera. If
Mhm.
you want to do a vlogging camera, a walk and talk,
Yeah.
and you want something that works well and is a great vlogging camera, I wouldn't go out and buy a damn thing. You have a phone.
Right.
Use it.
Yeah, the
Oh.
phone.
Mount
the
that.
phone's great.
Connect up your mic right into the bottom
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Walk along, get yourself a little handheld mount, and walk along, talk to your
Yeah.
phone.
I did
It
that
records-
yesterday, but I did that yesterday.
Great.
Got a brand new mic, but got to turn the microphone on.
Oops.
The park video I just put out, I was doing a little walk around, had my phone on the stick, and I'm like, I'm narrating what's going on about the park and everything else. And I get back and I said, the footage is beautiful, beautiful footage I took. But I'm like, where's my sound at? And then I
Now,
thought
if
about
you,
it. I thought about it. I said, I forgot to turn the mic on.
Yeah. Now, if you don't want to use your phone because for whatever reason, I think the GoPro. I've got the 10, but anything 9 and up, I think
Right.
those are great walk and talk vlog cameras. You have to get the media adapter so you can put a
Right.
mic into it.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. The Fusion mic is trash. It picks up, but it's not good for
Oh, yeah.
vlogging.
Do not use onboard mics for your vlogging.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to get to that when you talk about mics, is that you want to have some type of mic on your lapel or whatever that can pick up your natural voice. But other than that, like I say, if that camera's a foot, 2 feet away from you, it's going to sound like it's 20 feet away from you and stuff, because it just doesn't pick up unless it's right there in front of your face, within about eight inches of your face. Something there. But yeah, that's why I've always would learn with that with mics. And like I said, that's why I like, the Rhodes is why my favorite. But like I said, the DJI mics are just so convenient with the Osmo Pocket setup, with the 2 and the 3. Everything connects right away automatically, so you don't have to be worried about if everything is working. It just works and stuff from that point.
Mhm.
But we
Well-
still got to turn it on.
I like my mic minis. Those are amazing to me.
Uh-huh.
Mic minis, the fact that I can pack everything, and they're, like I said, my relationship to video is changing and downsizing. It's
Mhm.
very strange. That is a great little downsize tool. I do have a little wired lav mic that I have an adapter so I can plug directly into my phone. If I want to do that, I'm going to, when I go down to Florida, I'm going to be taking my field recorder just because I cannot get away from taking my field recorder. And
Yeah, this
I'll be
is-
taking, where is it? I'll be taking just a really small directional mic
Yeah.
and my field recorder, just because I still have not broken, I can't break all my habits at once. And to me, audio is, for a video, is more important than video.
Yeah. Well, this is the little mic setup I have for my phone.
Oh,
Right there.
nice. Yep.
You know, and like I said, the little button that turns on the mic is on the back inside here.
And you
that's what I
didn't.
didn't turn it on, you know, but I tested it, so I know it works and everything else. And I keep it in the same case as with my Osmo Pocket 2, you know, so I have that with me and the mic and the dead cat crap there.
Maybe I'll
and
take
everything.
that one. Might take this one.
All right. Talking about cameras, this is why it's always important to have a camera with you when somebody's up to no good and the fence does its job.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
supposed,
Morning,
to, you're, supposed
DJ.
to you're supposed to share the clip now, David.
I am going to. You see it?
Oh no, he gets hung up.
Yeah, probably
Oh,
upside
no.
down if he don't harpoon himself.
He's gonna catch himself on his pants and he's gonna hang upside
Right.
down pantsed.
Right in the crotch area.
Oh,
Oh, there
no,
you
it
go.
was his shirt. Oh, yeah.
He didn't block it. He didn't block it.
Oh,
Take the pants off.
you know. Yeah, but those pants aren't coming over the shoes. He's gonna hang.
You'll be surprised what gravity can do.
I told you those pants weren't coming over the shoes.
I think he's got one out.
I did.
Oh, he's still stuck. Oh,
Oh, man. Yep. He's just fortunate he wasn't going commando. Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I'm still learning. Like you said, it's everybody gets hung up on the specs on the bots of a lot of cameras and stuff. Like I say, these 360 cameras is a big one. Where
Well,
you
and
don't.
I will say that it did not help when the manufacturers, they pump these out to these influencers, and on embargo, when the embargo list, you get all these videos coming out saying this camera is the greatest camera ever. It's the greatest thing ever, and it's not much of an upgrade from the previous camera.
Right. Well, that's what they said about.
If you're carrying around an X4, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably say don't get the X5 yet.
Right, and people
But-
have said that.
For you and I, if we wanted to upgrade it to the X5 from the Fusion, that's a reasonable upgrade. That is, if you want to shoot 360, or if you have a use for 360, or being able to reframe your shots after the fact, then do that.
Yeah,
I want to get it. We're going to go on vacation in June. And I kind of want to get it to take down as my vacation camera.
Right.
I'll still be packing my GoPro.
DJ.
I'm not going to pack that big camera over here, but it'll be entirely shot on, my vacation videos will be entirely shot on phone, GoPro,
Right.
and the Fusion.
Yeah.
Watch out, folks. TJ's on the sticker hunt.
You mean the X5?
Oh, I know, Mr. Stickers.
All right, yeah, the X5, not the Fusion.
He needs
Yeah.
to change
Now
his name
I was
to
eyeing an
Stickers.
X4, but I'm like you know, I
The
said
giggling sticker.
I'm looking more at the numbers in detail and say, okay, X4 shoots 8K, so
Yeah.
I'm at least getting 4K
I
each
would.
camera.
If I was upgrading right now, I would not go. Usually, I'll go generation back.
Mm-hmm.
But between the X5 and the X4, as far as low light or lower light,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably just go ahead and get the X5. And it's cheaper to get the X4.
Mm-hmm.
What, $100 maybe?
Well, like I say, you hunt. I was eyeing one that started off around 200 and some change. I think it finally sold for 3 something.
Okay,
You know, I'm not.
that's like
willing to pay-
$200.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not willing to pay X5 money at this time. It's just not worth it to me. And like you say, how often am I going to be out at night? I'm past that age level. I don't go out at night.
Yeah, but you say that
It's not about at night. On the X4, you'll start seeing noise drop in early evening. After
Yeah.
that sun sets, you'll start seeing noise in your
Well,
blacks.
that's night from people my age. Anytime when I go eat dinner at 4 p.m.
Dre,
by 6 p.m.
bullshit.
it's night.
I saw your video. I saw your birthday video, and you shot
Yeah.
some of that crap at night. So don't give me shit.
That's 4 a.m. in the morning.
Dre, here's a perfect example where the X5 would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how many times you climbed those stairs to get
Yeah.
those different angles?
Yeah.
You put the X5 up, and you would have
all in one.
walked down the stairs once,
Yeah.
and that would have given you 2 different
All the
angles
angles.
reframed
Right.
for you walking down the stairs, and then catch the different angle here. So then you would have had to just get a close up of your feet, and you would have been done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that, for me, if I was talking about low light stuff, whatever, break out the phone, break out the GoPros or the Osmo 3,
True.
A different camera for a different
Mhm.
situation. That's how I look at it.
Oh, Osmo is a great vlogging camera, especially if you pair it with like the DJI mics.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
that's what
that
I'm
would
saying.
be a wonderful. I don't have an Osmo Pocket,
Yeah.
but that would be a great vlogging camera if that's
Well,
what
that's
you're
what-
after.
That's what I'm saying. I have the 3 and the Osmo 2 and with the mics to go with them and everything. And like I said, to me, it's all about using the best camera for that scenario. I'm not
Well,
looking
that was
for the
a Casey
all-in-one.
Neistat maxim. Whenever he said, "How does he shoot videos?" He shoots on the best camera that he has available, and that means when he's
Mhm.
in the office and he's got access to it, he'll shoot on his best camera because he
Right.
has time set up. He's got some lighting setups that are ready to
Mhm.
go. When he
Yeah.
goes out in the street, he'll grab a different camera.
Right.
Or so
anyway, Dre, you'll be writing it off against tax anyway, won't you, for the business?
Oh yeah, it's always written. It's always everything I buy gets written off on tax, but it still comes out my pocket.
yeah.
True.
Well,
I mean,
And
they are
like I said,
perfect.
it's
They are
not
perfect.
100%. It's not 100% trade when you write off on tax.
Yeah.
You'll be lucky to get 5-7% max.
I mean, they are perfect for doing stuff like culvert inspections, where you just stand at the end of the culvert, put the X5 on a stick, and push it through. And it will take a picture of all around the culvert without you actually doing anything.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I say, I mean, those are uses I'm thinking of that, if I have to go under something and I can put it on a pole or whatever and check rivets and cracks and whatever else, bolts and stuff like that, I can still get that type of activity. But like I said, even if I was doing it with the naked eye, whatever, I would have additional lighting to highlight the area that we want to check. You're not always going to be in a culvert or something like a pipe. I mean, I used to do pipe inspections with a robotic vehicle and stuff, but it had lights built into it around the camera that lit everything up, so the camera would be able to distinguish what you're looking at. The lighting is something.
Not only that, but you could fit it on top of your drone and fly on the bridge and get every angle.
Yeah, that too. But I say flying under the bridge, you always got to worry about losing GPS signal. So you don't want to have that. That's a scenario either. So I mean, you look at all the factors. When you talk about bridge work, you're under a lot of steel, a lot of concrete.
Yeah,
Two biggest things that interfere with GPS signal.
yeah,
So I can say you just look at it, what you're gonna do. And like once again, I don't do a whole lot of bridge work. If that was all I did was a bridge inspector, oh, hands down, get the X5. It's the number one tool I'll always be using. This is the only bridge I've done work on. You know, and I say the city doesn't have any other bridges of this size that would go over like this one does. But everything else would be little small, little bridges that, like you say, I can use something else to even get the work done. So like I do bridges all the time. It's one of those rare occasions that this is a going on 5-year bridge project that's going on in our city. Most of my stuff, like we saw, I do stuff for park improvements, other facilities in the city that are called capital improvement project, which is usually above ground work. If we're doing anything, we break into the ground, it's going to be laying pipe down in the ground. So I got all the daylight I need to get a good shot at anything like that. And, you know, shooting concrete being laid, shooting asphalt being laid, all this kind of stuff. I don't do much of the underground work. I leave that to the water department now, since they took over our sewer crew.
Yeah.
But like I say, this to me, it's just like I said, I don't mind buying stuff that's a little older because, like I said originally, that I'm only looking for that 5 to maybe 10-second shot that people say, "Oh, that's interesting," and that's about it. That's all it is. Just like the little walk on the bridge shot I did. This first time I used it, first time I was able to edit it, you know, and that was the big part was getting it edited. But I saw even with that the limitation because it did not meet the quality level that I actually wanted to have.
Yeah.
You know, using that footage with the drone footage and everything else, you can tell it's a big step down. This stuff with the drone footage, 4K, you know, even with the Mavic 2 Pro, which I flew for that bridge shot this week, very crispy, very clean, very high contrast, colors popping and everything else. And I break out this fusion and everything looks kind of like I'm in a fog.
Well,
comparably.
Because that fusion, you're looking at, was it 4K?
It was 4K, 5.2, and 30
Right.
frames per second, but you're only getting.
But you're
just above
cropping down
2.
in, so you're shooting. Once you get down into it, you're probably looking at less than 1080p.
Right. Like I said, the ideal is probably around
looking
720.
if you punch in on that, I think you're probably looking at probably a 720 HD.
Yeah, that's what I said. About 720. So like me, with looking at prices, I'm looking, you know, the X3, which still X3 is supposed to be 4K, but the X4 kind of hits a sweet spot if I can catch it right at under $300.
Right.
That would be the sweet spot for me.
And the Fusion's what, about 10 years old now? So
seven, 8, although 10 years, about to say 7, 8, 10 years old.
Not exactly the ideal sensor in it.
Right. That's
but I mean, for the time, it was amazing.
Right. Yeah. At the time, it was amazing when most of the videos, even on YouTube, were barely 1080p. Most of them were between 360 and 720.
Reframing with that fusion, and it was crap, but it was still, compare it to the time. What was amazing about it was putting it on a stick and walking up to a car and just sticking it through an open window for like a car commercial. And being able to reframe, so you go into the car and then you look at the dash and then come back around and show that was a really interesting way to shoot.
And like I say, even in today's society, the Fusion or whatever would still be an ideal camera to use in that scenario and stuff because it will do everything, and because it's in a I would say contrast environment where you have dashboards, leather material, stuff like that, it'll pick it all up because everything's close. Everything's very close. So like I said, when you reframe
it's still a low resolution, but what we did when we did it, it was for a car commercial. And so when we did it, we had shrunk that image down and it took up part of the room, and we had graphics. We had a background, we had that Fusion reframe as a smaller window and graphics for the price and the information about the car.
Right. Yeah.
And so you didn't see those imperfections quite as much because you're keeping it smaller.
Right.
X3 for 300. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, if I can find an X4 about 300, I might jump all over. I'm looking at one right now. It's got little scratches on the viewing screen, but the lens looks intact.
That is one interesting thing about the X5 is that you don't need to put those little bubbles on the lenses like you do with the X4 because the
Right.
lenses are user replaceable parts.
Right.
And that is one advantage to the X5 if you're going to be taking out and doing stuff with it where it might get damaged. If it's going to stay in your camera bag and be pulled out and used for specialty shots where you're not going to be putting it at risk, then that is largely negligible. But no, that is a big problem, and that's why this video talking down the X5 exists, is because they put it out to all these vloggers and they say this is the last camera you're ever going to need, and they're selling it to do something that it's really, it can get by doing it, but it's not going to be the best at doing it.
Yeah, it's the last camera you'll ever need until we bring the next one out.
Oh yeah, don't miss out. You better buy it right now. And that's part of the reason why I've been putting it off, is because I don't want to go out and buy it first thing. But I do want to buy it early enough that I can get used to it, know where all the controls are on it before I take it on vacation and use it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing that makes it more awkward for me. The fact that all of the stuff is on menus on that tiny screen.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the same with the GoPro. Would probably be very difficult for you to use. You can link up to your phone though and use the GoPro app. Might make it easier.
I've got the Insta360 1R or R1 or whatever it is, which has interchangeable modules, so you can take the 360 module off and plug a normal action camera lens module on. So it just comes like as two square blocks that clip together, and then a battery clips underneath it.
Huh.
They're pretty handy.
So we're going to do that.
And it's only the same size as the GoPro. In fact, they also do another module for it with a 1-inch sensor.
Oh, I already had that on there. Don't put duplicate items on your to-do list, Don.
Oh, you get through them quicker when you do that.
Yeah, you can knock two of them off at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you get too many things on your to-do list, you just shut down, you stare at it like, I'll never get out from under this. This is just horrible. Did I have a meeting to go to today?
You mean the one you missed?
No.
I'm going to say, I hope it wasn't this morning.
Not if you want.
No, I was pretty sure I didn't have one, and I just now, did I have one scheduled? No, I don't have one. So this is going to be a slow day. It's Friday, I think. Probably all the people are, all the salespeople are off at the lake or something.
We've got to remember it's pizza day for Lance.
Pizza, pizza.
Oh, it's Pizza Friday, right, Lance?
TJ, that board is actually cleared off compared to yesterday morning. It was it was horrible yesterday morning. And really, there's things that have been bumped and that I'm waiting on. So, oh, I need to put that. I need to do that first. Ask about that because that has not been taken care of, and that's not my job. And I can get it off. I just need to remind somebody, and I can do that quick.
What does that say on the shirt?
Huh?
If you,
Oh,
if no, that's no, it's too dark.
If you leave, we will what?
if you leave it, we'll eat it.
Ah,
I think it's what it says. If you
Yeah.
leave it, we will eat it. And the
Uh-huh.
front says 3 o'clock Slumdogs.
uh-huh. So you could never get away with wearing that if you worked in the office still.
Probably not. And normally I would not wear a t-shirt down here. Normally I'm wearing a colored shirt, especially if I've got a meeting scheduled. And that's why I was like, do I have a meeting scheduled today? Because I was gonna go change my shirt if I did.
Yeah.
Uh,
Are most of your meetings done on Zoom then, or
yeah.
Yeah.
Or Teams.
Mm.
So why is my audio not coming through my headphones?
I must admit, I don't think I could have ever worked from home. I would have got even less done than I actually did when I was at work.
Oh yeah, working from home sucks.
I just
And
wouldn't want to do anything. There's too many distractions at home.
I try to keep them down. Problem with working from home is that this room is work, and so it's also where I have my editing computer, so I don't come down here and do any editing because work is here. And I'm
Yeah.
just so sick of this room by the end of the day.
So what you need is 2 offices.
What I need to do, I got this new iPad. Well, it's not a new iPad, it's a few years old, but it does run DaVinci. And you can unlock all the panels in DaVinci. And rendering out proxy clips, it is responsive as hell if you're working with proxies. And so I'm going to probably start trying to get all my keyboard shortcuts set up on the iPad and do some editing on it on the fly.
I do believe that Ron Brown did a video of using the DaVinci on the iPad.
Well, I'm trying to learn DaVinci at the same time as this. So really, to learn DaVinci, I should be down here so I can have DaVinci on one monitor and have a browser window on the other, so I can look up shortcuts and look up different where things are and how to do things and do tutorials. And
yeah,
as far as the problem you get on learning stuff, it's either we're going to show you every little detail that or it goes into we're going to teach you how to edit. It's like, okay, I know how to edit. I know what a J-cut is. Just tell me, how do I get the meat done?
Yeah. How to get from one place to another.
Like I right now am trying to figure out, and I was going to look that up, where selection follows playhead is not working in the cut window. Well, that takes away a lot of the speed and functionality of the cut window. I can get the selection to follow the playhead in the edit window. But the edit window is for editing. The cut window is for cutting. That's a different job. And if I have to go ahead and cut in the edit window, I can do that. But I would rather think compartmentalized. And granted, you don't have that in Premiere, really, but I kind of do because I would create whenever I would edit something long form in Premiere, I would create a sequence. It'd be my cut sequence, and that would be doing my main rough cut. I'd drop out everything in there and do my cut. And you're just doing trim head, trim tail, and sequencing shots in different orders. You get your rough cut done, and it's fast. Copy everything and put that into a separate sequence. That would be my edit window where I start to finesse, do J cuts, do some experimentation with it and change it. But I would never touch that initial cut because I might have to go back to it.
What is a J cut?
A J cut is it's where your audio and your video are misaligned. So let's say you are shooting a video where you change location, and say you're in your office and you're recording some stuff, and then you're going to be out on the street and doing the second part of your video. If you come along and you're in your office and you cut, it's a hard cut, and you go to the street, it's jarring. You can put a cross dissolve in there to soften it, but you don't want to do that. It's doing a straight cut is usually better than a cross dissolve, in my opinion. So what you do is you drop your audio from the street back into your other, like underneath your other clip.
Right.
So you're in your office and you start hearing the street before you see the street.
Before you see the street, yeah.
And so it builds in your mind the expectation of outdoor. And when you cut, it softens it in your mind, but not visually.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. I see it done in a lot of television shows and movies.
Yeah. And an L cut is the exact opposite on the tail end of a clip where you leave your audio fading after something. You'll see that a lot of times in television shows where something tragic happens and they cut to the hospital and you're still hearing the car crash.
Right.
That would be what is called an L cut.
Okay.
So does the L stand for lag?
No, it's how it looks on the timeline. Your video and your audio layers.
Oh, I get you.
You have your cut going straight up and down. So when you bring that back, your J is pushed back. So it looks like this. And your L cut looks the other way.
Yeah, I get you.
Do I need to create a series of videos on cutting?
No, I just terminology.
No, would that be a cool thing? I'm asking.
It is a cool thing you do. I'm saying.
Yeah.
I knew once you explained it, I know what you're talking about because I've done it before. Okay.
You just didn't know the jargon.
Right. Like I say, the terminology. That's what I'm saying. You're being a professional doing it in the corporate world. You have these terms that you use universally. I never been in that environment. So to me, when you say J cut, L cut, whatever, I'm like, okay, what am I missing here? But once you explain, I said, I know what that is. I've done it myself.
Yeah, and it's there.
Yes.
And transitions, what?
An overlap.
Well, that would be simplistic in terms.
Well, that would not be descriptive of what you are asking for.
Right. Like I say, these
can
are
you overlap
specific terms.
the audio? Okay, are you asking for a J cut or an L cut?
Right.
Because every transition's up and down. And are you asking for the audio from this clip to overlap the audio from this clip? Or are you asking for the audio from this clip to overlap the audio from this clip?
Yeah. I haven't done much of it. Like I say, for work stuff for the city, I use a very basic clip champ. And and the real problem is not the software that's incapable, it's the computer I'm using at work is incapable. I barely am able to squeak out a 4K video with no type of transitions, just straight cuts, hard cuts, from one scene to the next scene. Same thing with the music, sound, or anything like that, because the computer just grinds to a halt.
Hi, Paul.
Now here at home, a lot more power to play around with. I can do all that stuff, no problem at all.
Oh,
it makes me think now that LumaFusion is a lot more powerful than people think.
Well, it's like anything else. If you have the knowledge and how to use it, like I say, Don has been in the corporate world where he has learned the knowledge. Like he's talking about the J cuts, the L cuts, and all these different other things, terminology, and he knows how to use it. The software we have today is what Don was doing 10 years ago. Okay?
Yeah.
And go from there. We are trying to catch up to what Don learned 10 years ago.
Yeah. I've got some institutional knowledge that is becoming common knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
Because barriers to entry have disappeared. It
Right.
used to be that you had to invest $50,000 in a camera, $50,000 in an edit computer.
Mhm. Right.
And now you have your camera and your edit computer, if you wanted to, right here.
Hmm. And I've seen people do some excellent
You did, CJ.
clips, YouTube stuff, with just a iPhone or Samsung phone, whatever, Android phone. And like I say, getting the footage is one thing. The audio is the next thing. But when it all comes together in an editing software where you do all the real hard work. And I say the finished product is like, you're like, ooh and ah.
Oh, lighting is if you're lighting is hard work too.
Yeah, lighting comes in there if you're doing low light, nighttime
yeah,
stuff like
it
that.
is.
But
Editing is where most things are made or broken.
right.
Like lighting used to be one of the toughest things in photography years ago.
Well, like I said,
Everything
that
made
goes with the technology, where now you have better cameras that are able to pick up more in low light or difficult lighting scenarios, and you don't need to have as much light. But it's if you look at some of the clips where people talk about lighting, and you think, oh man, that's pretty simple to do.
You've
They
also
do a backdrop lighting
You've
position.
also got really tiny lights now that have got more power than the ones that used to be a foot long and 6 inches square.
Yeah, that too. What you're working with is a lot
I
more
am, Paul. Don't
convenient and
worry, I'll
everything
shut it down for you when they're ready.
Are you trying to give us a hint there, David?
No, Paul messaged in the chat. He's put David as the host.
Oh,
He
Did
left. He made me the host and left without saying.
oh, did he go fly ship, or he just wanted to go as I call
Nah,
it,
he's
the
gone for a
library?
nap, I think.
I think he went to the library.
He went for a nap.
Ah,
Oh.
don't do that to me. Library.
This is way over movie maker's pay grade.
Don, have you ever visited that library that's on the Canadian-American border, that the border runs straight through the middle of the library?
I have not.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, there is. There's actually houses as well on one street where the kitchen's in Canada and the living room's in America.
Yeah, there is a town down on, I think it's on the Mexican border, that for years they thought they were in one country, but it turned out they were in the other country.
Hmm.
And I can't remember if it was, I think they thought they were in Mexico, but it turned out they were actually in the US. And it was just a weird.
Yeah. I guess whoever's surveying that job is.
Well, I think it was.
You wouldn't want to live in one of them houses, though. You know them
I think
houses
it came down to kind of like an Oxbow Lake type situation with Rio Grande, is I think where it came from.
But those houses on the American-Canadian border, yeah, you wouldn't want to live in them because you have to pay taxes to both countries.
Yeah.
Well, they make a determination based upon, it could be the address. Is your address an American address or is it a Canadian address? And that's how they base the property taxes, things of that nature.
Yeah, but could you imagine it? I'm going to go to bed. Have you got your passport? We need to go through passport control.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to wake the TSA guy up. Hey, we want to go in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, that's usually what I do, but usually that falls back to, like I say, most countries were surveyed hundreds of years ago. And whatever inaccuracies that occurred then don't crop up decades, years, centuries later. And like Don was saying, that you can have people who live on a certain street who thought they were in one place and they're in another
Mm.
because we're more
Why don't-
accurate. We're more accurate.
Why don't we
with
just spit it out here? Come on, spit it out. The British made up your borders. We're to blame.
Well, the thing is here, it goes down to individuals who were tasked to go out and map and survey these areas. They say it's the country's fault. It's the individuals that are out there. And those mistakes still happen today. They still
Yeah.
happen today. Even with all the sophisticated GPS stuff that we use out there, if a guy doesn't have the rod perfectly straight and steady in a line, he can throw off a whole housing development.
Yeah.
Throw everything off.
It-
And I
it
can say,
came-
what starts off as a very minute error the further you get away from that point, the wider the problem is.
Yeah.
In fact, when COVID hit over here, and they split the country into three. So Wales had their own rules, and Scotland had their own rules, and England had their own rules. We had pubs on the English and Welsh border where the main doors were in England and the windows were in Wales. So they could go to the pub because they were in England. The door was in England, but they couldn't stand at the bar on the Welsh side because there was no, and vice versa. They had people climbing through windows just to get into the pub because the windows were on the English side.
Oh wow. That's one thing I've learned. Like they work in construction, and just like Mark being dealing with engineers and things of that
Wow.
nature. What starts off as a very small mistake at the point turns to a bigger problem the farther you get away from that reference point.
Yeah, and you have to be a lot more. Actually, I think you've got to be a lot more careful now than you used to be, because in the old days you had to set everything up manually and you had to get it right.
Yeah.
Now you press a button and you trust the machine to be right.
Yeah, but like still, the machine still has to be set up.
Yeah.
On a known point of reference.
Exactly.
And I say, if that known point is an error, everything that you set off that known point is going to be an error.
We have a lot of benchmarks. I don't know whether you do the same kind of thing over there, but a lot of buildings and walls have benchmarks on them, which are set levels, and basically it's chiseled into it. It's a line. It's just a horizontal line with an arrow pointing upwards at it, and it's chiseled into the stone or the brickwork.
Yeah.
And
usually our markers with housing developments, it'll be in the curb face. It'll be a nail in the curb face, and it might have a G letter.
They're just temporary benchmarks. These are permanent ordnance survey benchmarks.
Right, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I'm saying that's what they use once they start the housing project.
Yeah.
Like I say, the actual survey point might have been off the railroad tracks on the other side of my housing area, but the railroad tracks have been there hundreds of years before.
Yeah.
So that means they might have got their reference from there, shot their position for the housing development. That one I sit right outside of my property on the curb face. And I said, there's another one across the street for that side of the street, but there's no other markers down the street. So my house was at the reference point for my side of the street, and my neighbor across the street was the reference point for the rest of the houses on the other side of the street.
Yeah. So to set up your initial reading on a survey, what we do is put a coin into the slot that was the horizontal line of the benchmark, and rest the survey staff on that, so that you have the right level.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a number of I would say steps or process, and if you get one of them wrong, you can throw everything off.
Yeah.
And that's why people don't understand why does it take so long to be a surveyor. I mean, you just can't go down and, I know here in America, you just can't go down and, get a degree, take the test. They make you become an apprentice for like up to about 7 to 8, 9 years before they actually classify you as a bona fide surveyor.
Yeah, no, we don't need to get quite that. I mean, my civil engineering,
Yeah, civil engineers, if you've been like say registered as a civil engineer, you have that capability of not doing the journeyman's route for your education status as a civil engineer, because that's a testing process here in the States. I don't know how it is over the UK, but that's a testing process. So like I say, surveyors and civil engineers can sign off on plans. Okay, as far as that goes. No problem with that. Civil engineer never has to step on the site, particularly what the surveyor does.
yeah. Although you will find that quite a lot of the engineers over here will go out and do their own surveying, certainly before the work starts, to get so that they can work out what goes where and how much has to be dug out and things like that, so that you can do your bills of quantities. Because basically, I did everything. I did surveying, I did the design work, and I did the bills of quantities, the quantity surveying. Was a whole lot rather than just specialized.
Yeah. I mean, I say in certain scenarios, especially like a smaller company or smaller municipality, you will have multiple jobs to complete. Larger organizations will have different individuals who go out and do this, do that.
And we had to do our own drawings as well.
Right. Well, a lot of times we have people, like I say, you might have specialized companies that do your drawing. And then a lot of times that company, whoever wants to build something, brings them into our city and brings it to the planners. The planners come through it, they look at it, see if it meets all of our building code specs and all that kind of stuff. Then they'll pass on a set of those plans to our engineering staff to get their evaluations on it, all that kind of stuff. So like I say, depends on how large of an organization you work for, is how many eyeballs get a look at it.
Yeah. Well, I was in the city engineers department at Manchester City. So
that's why I tell people that, with the work I do with the city, even when I was an inspector, I worked alongside with the engineers because I was their ears and eyes as an inspector for them. But those guys hardly ever went out in the field. You would think they would want to be interested in going out in the field, but they know they're not required, so that's what they use inspectors for.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically that's what my dad was. He was a clerk of works. So he was responsible for overseeing everything and making sure it was done on site.
Like even then, we have guys, like for me, my specialty is in erosion control. So once they start breaking ground, that's where I step in and ensure they follow all the general construction permit regulations. And if they're doing anything as far as putting in a drainage system, either be a retention reservoir, detention basin, or underground system to percolate the water back into the groundwater, that was my specialty. Now we have guys who come out and all they did was verify concrete work, asphalt work, electrician. You have usually electrician and the plumbing inspector is usually one guy, but that's all they looked at.
Yeah, that's part of the building inspectors rather than the engineering works on.
Right. Yeah. We build it as safe type of thing and stuff. But like I said, the engineering, like I said, they're more interested in the actual plans and everything else. And that's why I tell people, when you come to that, the biggest thing that you pay for is that wet signature. That's what you're paying for. That's what their expertise, their education, all that comes to play, and that's why they charge. They can charge the money they do because that's what the value is. Is that what signature say it is good to go?
Yeah.
Because they stake their reputation, their professionalism on those wet signatures on those plans that get stamped.
Now,
Like I
Lance,
said-
we want to know is what's your take on the subject?
My take?
No, Lance's.
Oh,
I agree with Dre. I'm
This
hey
goes out of
David.
nowhere.
David, I'm playing with my green screen.
Yeah, I can see. It might be a bit colorblind. It looks a bit black.
yeah.
See, look, Dre's got a proper green screen.
Oh yeah, my green the green curtain is which used to be my oldest daughter's room when she lived downstairs. Now she's back upstairs in another room. So like you say, she has the green light sheared over the old closet, and then behind me she has we call darkening curtains. They're green too. So,
I take it you're not in work today.
no, I'm not. No, this is my Friday off of my
And he's
my
still wearing a shirt.
my 960 schedule. Every other
No, he's
Friday
wearing
I'm off. I have a little polo shirt on today. Gonna head out in a minute to one of my properties and put up some outdoor solar lights around it so it'll look pretty at night.
Uh-huh.
I think that's all I'm required to do today. And go. Should be a nice cool day today. I'll just get 7.
Mm. I think I'm going to have grass sometime this weekend. Mm.
So Lance, what's on the schedule today after you vacate the school premise? Or did you take the day off?
I took the day off today.
Yeah.
We were supposed to go to the cabin, and I've got an esports tournament on Sunday, so that meant that I would have to either come home Saturday night or early on Sunday. So I think we decided not to go. So we're gonna stick around. So I don't have much to do today.
Just lazy weekend.
We always, I know for me, I always talk about lazy weekends, but then I feel bad about Sunday night. I said, what did I do for the last couple of days? Did I get anything accomplished?
Never get anything accomplished. That's
You're still mute, Don. You mute yourself.
the nice thing about retiring. You don't have to accomplish anything.
Yeah, but I mean, what you get used to that routine. I guess it'll probably take me a few years of retirement to appreciate and not be concerned. Because I know for me, when you're goal orientated, you always want to try to make sure you accomplish something each day or a couple of days or whatever the case may be to feel like, I guess, to validate yourself.
Yeah, I feel miserable whenever last night I was like, I'm going to do this tonight. Because I'm wanting to learn Da Vinci, like I said. And I'm like, well, I'm going to do this. And I went upstairs, looked over, and there's that little Game Boy sitting there, and I played a castle on Game Boy and did a little bit there, put it down. I don't know, sat there and talked to the wife for a while, and then I browsed YouTube and just towards
for me last night, because
towards bed, it's like, okay, I need to at least learn one shortcut, and I made sure to open up Da Vinci on the iPad, plug in some footage, and actually learn a couple of shortcuts before I went to bed, or else I'd be like, I totally wasted this night.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I'm not a big TV watcher, and none of the shows that I do like to watch were on last night. So I'm like, there's nothing on TV that I want to watch. But once the news went off at 7 p.m., I'm turning the TVs off. Boom. And
I need to just get fewer hobbies. You know, that dune buggy out there, I feel bad because like I haven't touched that project for a while. I need to get out and do that. Well, I need to do this. Oh, you know, I got to mow the lawn, and regular home maintenance takes priority over everything.
Mhm.
Well, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, my TV is basically stuck on the Golf Channel.
Yeah, I guess I don't watch golf like I used to. Like I said, I don't watch basketball. I mean, I watch a little bit of football, and I never watch a whole game. I might watch a half when football season's in play. But
I
other
mean,
than
look
that,
how much
no.
time I wasted on this stream today, just being on here.
Yeah.
All of it.
Well, and this is the only thing being on here, you guys, is I haven't eaten my cereal this morning. Unlike our buddy TJ, I don't feel comfortable eating cereal on camera.
It's not the eating of the cereal, but what about licking out of the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so there's some things I like to keep private.
The older we get, Dre, the biggest accomplishment we ever do every day is getting out of bed still.
Well, I always say getting out of the bed.
Yeah.
Getting out of the bed is becoming more of a task than anything else. And making sure while both those little tootsies hit the floor, there's no pain to follow.
Yeah.
You know, because I get up, back might be a little tight, might be a little ache in the knee, ankle.
He's trying to get some bloody sleep.
Yeah,
I cannot sleep for the. Don't know why. Cannot. 2-3 hours. That's it. I'm done. Got to get up, and then I'll put rest of the day. I'm just literally just nodding off all the time and just wake back up.
And then my most favorite thing is you got to pay some bills.
That's automatic. That's all on direct debit. It just comes straight out of my bank account.
Well, I do 50-50, half automatic, half I write. You know, and it just, like I said, I guess it's just more about keeping me engaged, keeping me on track with what's coming and going. You know? Because I'm one of those folks who are always on the edge about accounts being hacked and things of that nature and stuff. Just like I had to, have a little company. You just talked to my Amazon friends. I'm sure they're David's favorite people about some subscriptions. And I'm like, hold up here. I didn't authorize that mess and all this kind of stuff. So I had to cancel out about 3 or 4 different subscriptions and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, and I get on my people, my parents have one of my sticks under my name. So I always got to be concerned of what they click on and stuff. And then I got, all the TVs here in the house. And I keep kind of tell these folks who I live with, this stuff ain't free. They always tell you, you can download the app for free, but the actual service is not free.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me, David, send me the link on Messenger for where I'm paying this to.
Paying what to?
For
Yeah, just wait until I've done the video first.
All right.
I've
So,
got
gentlemen,
got to find a memory card.
I'm going to be responsible, unlike Don. And I'm going to get off here and start doing some of my little weekend chores so I can just get things done. I like to get things done, especially when I got the Fridays off. Get everything done on Friday, so I actually can be lazy on Saturday. Besides, I think there is some Grand Formula One racing going on this weekend. Imola.
Is it Imola?
Yeah, Imola.
Right.
This weekend, so I don't want to be disturbed during qualify. Are you guys say over there the quali? And
We just say qualifying.
Yeah. So I say, we get ready for the quali.
We don't say that.
Yeah, I looked at the guys in you guys don't talk commentary. Yeah, the commentary box. Yeah, I like picking up all the little British slang terms.
I must admit, I don't watch Formula One. I'd much rather watch World Superbikes and the MotoGP. More excitement goes on in motorbike racing than there is in cars.
Yeah. I've just been a fan forever, ever since my days as a young kid in the late '60s, '70s, playing with slot cards.
When they used
Always,
to
oh,
proper cars, not the stuff they've got now.
yeah, no, I talk about the slot car sets you got for Christmas and stuff that you played with. And the box came with Jackie Stewart's face on it,
Yeah.
things of that nature. Stuff. I said, oh, I always been a fan ever since. Been a fan ever since.
Yeah, when Bugatti had a big presence in it.
Yeah. I'm right to have a big old giant 4-lane set sitting on top of my dad's ping pong table in the garage.
Uh-huh.
I said, half the kids in the neighborhood come to our house, we can do some racing.
That was
That was my thing.
electric.
So like I said, I'm gonna get off. And since Don is holding my feet to the fire, I'm gonna be productive today. Thank you, Don. I appreciate you. See you guys later.
Catch you later.
Here, Dre. Don appears to be busy.
The next bank holiday is on the 26th, isn't it?
It is. Yep, it's a week on Monday.
Right. Do any of you guys want to continue, or am I all right to put it down?
I don't think Don's listening. He's muted.
No. He's working away.
Yeah. Yeah, we can go.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's fine. Let's pack it in.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay, everybody on YouTube, it's time to pack it in. I think you've all packed it in anyway and legged it.
Mm-hmm.
Paul will be back on at 5 p.m. his time, 10 p.m. our time. Fuck knows in Australia. And yeah, we'll see you all on that one. Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Donald.
See you, Don.
He'll notice when we've gone.
Yeah, he'll notice it eventually.